What's going on? It's your boy Lazy Lightsaber back at it again for another video. Man, this has been the morning. The Xbox Series S was revealed with a $300 price tag. We won't get into that because this is a Switch channel, but I just wanted to mention that. Man, $299, that's the same as a Switch. Full loaded Switch with the 2 Joy-Cons and dock, so that's pretty enticing. But before we get into this video, I just wanted to quickly apologize. I did give some misinformation on my previous video. I wanted to clarify that. So the September date that was given, it's not actually a Breath of the Wild 2 update. It's just a update to the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity update. So I just wanted to clarify that it's going to be an Age of Calamity update, not Zelda Breath of the Wild, even though they did say they're still working on it. So we can definitely expect Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 to come out sometime next year. I probably will want to say they want to line that up with March. Some people are saying holiday of 2021. I'm thinking more align that the same time as the original one came out, which is March, with the launch of the Switch. So I think that's where that's going to come out. But man, so much information has come out now for Zelda Hyrule Warriors. And I know the traditional Hyrule Warriors game is something that a lot of people didn't play. And they didn't play it because it was just kind of like a jumbled up thing. But it seems like now that Nintendo's directly involved with this game, it's definitely going to have a streamlined story. So we're getting a prequel. We're getting the story of what happened 100 years ago when Link was killed. Right before all that, we're probably gonna see all the guardians, all the heroes die. So Rivali and Daruk and Urbosa and Mipha, we're probably going to see all those people just die, and the sad story behind that. So that's definitely something that's to be expected. It seems like this game, even though it's kind of like a hack and slash game where you Link and or Urbosa, apparently we're going to be able to play as all the champions, but it seems like it's still that hack and slash where it's kind of you against 1,000, but it's also soldiers amongst your same ranks. So the Yiga clan, there's one where it shows the Yiga clan just straight up attacking Urbosa and her people, and her people battling against the Yiga clan. That's super awesome. Like, it kind of shows the battle of each race on each front. I mean, that is very Lord of the Rings-esque, right? So where the elves are fighting their own war, the dwarves are fighting their own war, the men are fighting their own war, which is like Hyrule kind of fighting their own world. So each kingdom is kind of facing, right, difficulty on their own turf, which I think is super cool. So it's bringing that kind of vibe into Hyrule Warriors. And I think even though this isn't a traditional Zelda game, I think it just basically provides so much information. It's going to provide so much backstory into what Zelda really is, into what happened 100 years ago. And I think just what we saw is a snippet, literally a snippet of so much story that is left to tell. I think that when this is all said and done, we're going to have a full, kind of like a full motion picture between what happened at the beginning 100 years ago and then kind of what happens now with Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? Which we kind of know because we already played that game. And then what's going to happen once finally Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 sequel comes out. So we're going to have kind of like this full story, and it's going to be massive and way more important than we can ever imagine. I am so hype about this specific storyline and just where they can go, because they can go anywhere with this. And I just want to give a big shout out to all the people that create this game. I know it's tough and you spend long hours dedicating to this game, so I just wanted to give them a big shout out because I'm pretty sure they put their 101% effort on this game. So I know it wasn't easy, but getting back to it, they're really showing in-depth story, and I'm pretty sure they're going to show the in-depth story of each champion. So Daruk and Mipha and all of them are going to have their own story, kind of more in depth than what we have ever seen up until now. And it's just going to basically be a full dive in, and they're going to have a lot more stories, so we can completely feel what happened that time ago. And it's pretty cool because you can see places that maybe are destroyed now but weren't destroyed back then in those video clips. Hopefully they show like the Temple of Time when it was rebuilt and how it got decayed, and maybe if there was a battle there, we can see that as well. And Long Ranch, right? All these places that were completely destroyed by these guardians and these bokoblins and moblins and all this. Maybe we can see that back to when Hyrule Castle and Hyrule Castletown was in its glory days, and not just Hyrule Castletown, but all the other places that were around before. Maybe the map will look different. The map will have to look different because Hateno Village really wasn't around back then, right? Because it was created because of the mass migration of this battle that kind of moved all the people out, right, into that section of the map. So definitely that probably won't be seen in this game. So definitely, man, there's so much stuff that hasn't been answered that we're kind of not even looking at, that definitely needs to be addressed, and that is one of those things. The other thing that kind of isn't mentioned is not only do we get backstory on all the champions, you know, like Daruk and Revali and Urbosa, which she does a cool kind of turnaround switch kind of move where she dodges the Yiga clan slash and then hits him on the back. That is super awesome. Like, I was like completely wild during that. And I hopefully we as we play as that character can perform those moves, but we will definitely be able to see kind of more in depth on what the kingdom looked back then, because it definitely looked different. It looked completely different than how it looked now. And I hope, I know it's not going to be a complete open world game, but I definitely hope they show more of that world, and I'm curious to see how they build it out, to see kind of what can we visit and what can we do. It's definitely very interesting that they're bringing in way more storyline, way more back, because we're going to get to see basically the world as it was when the Calamity attacked. How far were we, because obviously once the world was completely destroyed, we kind of stepped back, right? There was no progression. Yes, some towns were built, and some stuff was rebuilt, but there was no genuine progression. So we definitely kind of get to see what was lost. We get to go back to those places like Long Ranch, where we see a lot of decay and kind of weeds growing and kind of out everywhere, and kind of have a picture of what it would be like during its heyday. We get to go back to that time when it was in its heyday and see how the town kind of functioned. And just the fact that you're gonna go up there and swing sword like you're in the battle, you get to follow Link throughout his last kind of days, right? Kind of his last hours as a hero, as a champion, as the chosen warrior of the Master Sword to kind of kill off the Calamity, and how he wasn't able to do that because Zelda wasn't able to harness her healing power. I mean, well, her power in general. And it's crazy because I see that she used a what was it, one of the Link moves that he's able to kind of freeze, that stasis, right? I think of stasis, I don't remember exactly, but she's able to do that as well. So was she privy to the Sheikah Slate and able to do that? That's kind of weird. So I'm very curious to see if that was just kind of put in there where Link does it and she's just showing up in the shot and it's kind of making it look like she's doing it, or if just Link really did it. So there's a lot of that to kind of go through. I'm so curious and so interested in where kind of Nintendo is going through with this, and how they're going to make this all work out. I think this game is actually bigger than what people expect. I think people aren't giving this game, yes, it's blowing up all over Twitter, it's blowing up all over Facebook, and people are talking about it, but I don't think enough people are talking about it. I don't think enough people are connecting the dots, because basically what's going to happen is Breath of the Wild came out, this prequel is coming out. Yes, it's a Hyrule Warriors. It has to be done in that fashion. It has to be done in this fashion because it's a type of game where it's showing you, big battle fights between armies. It has to be done in a Hyrule Warriors kind of fashion. It cannot be done in a traditional Zelda because it's just you and it just wouldn't work out. So I think we're going to get so much information from this game along with Breath of the Wild, right? Kind of connect those dots. And then with Breath of the Wild 2 on the other side, we'll be able to see where this kind of all ends up and kind of connect the dots. This is really turning out to be a whole trilogy, as yes, it's not a traditional Zelda game, but it's a piece of the puzzle. So this is definitely going to turn out to be a trilogy. I'm super hyped to find out more information about it. On the 26th, I believe, is when they said of this month they'll provide more information, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully they'll have another trailer providing more information about kind of how this whole thing went down and kind of what transpired during this whole thing. So good stuff kind of to look forward to. So yeah, I'm definitely super hyped about it. I can't wait till we hear more about this game, and definitely can't wait till we hear more about Breath of the Wild 2, the sequel, and how that kind of wraps up this whole thing together. And then moving forward, right, to next gen console, how this is all going to wrap up the story to place us into that next gen, because that's what they're thinking. Nintendo is a super smart company, so they kind of have all this kind of worked out. Definitely curious. Just want to let you guys know, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe, like as well. It really does help. And don't forget to share amongst your buddies, and don't forget to follow us on @LazyLightsaber. That's on Twitter, @LazyLightsaber. You guys take care, be easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.